But what happened when Elon Musk's son X spoke about Jesus on live TV? It stopped the world. It wasn't the usual chatter, the politics, or the spectacle. It was something deeper, raw, and unexpected that caught millions off guard in that quiet studio. Ben Shapiro, known for his sharp intellect and unshakable confidence, sat across from a young man who carried more than just a famous name. He carried a message. This was not a debate. It was a moment of grace, the kind that pierces through noise and touches something inside us all. Elon Musk's son X didn't just speak about Jesus. He brought him to life with words that felt like a balm for a weary world. Millions watched, not knowing they were about to witness something extraordinary, a conversation that would ripple far beyond the TV screen. The air in the studio thickened with anticipation, hearts beating faster as X's voice grew steady, filled with faith and courage. And then it happened. A prayer. Simple, powerful, from a place of genuine belief and longing that left even the toughest skeptics silent. It's moments like these, the unexpected, the unplanned, that change everything. When faith breaks through fame and challenges us all to listen. This is the story of that moment. The story of how a young man's words about Jesus reached millions and left an indelible mark on hearts everywhere. Before we continue, we'd love to hear from you. Where are you watching from? Drop your location in the comments below and be sure to like, share, and subscribe for more inspiring stories. Right after the cameras started rolling, Elon Musk's son X surprised everyone by asking a question no one saw coming. A question about faith, about Jesus, about life itself. Ben Shapiro leaned in, curious yet cautious. What would a young man, born into a world of science and technology, say about the eternal and unseen? The question wasn't rehearsed, not scripted. It was real, raw, a glimpse into a young soul wrestling with truths bigger than himself. Millions were watching, but it felt like only the two of them existed in that moment, connected by something unspoken yet profound. X's voice, calm yet passionate, carried the weight of a generation searching for meaning in a chaotic world. Ben's sharp mind met the challenge, but something shifted. This wasn't a debate to be won. It was a story unfolding. This question was a seed planted deep, a spark that would ignite a conversation far beyond what anyone expected. And then came the pause, an honest silence filled with anticipation, waiting for the truth that would soon be spoken aloud. This was no ordinary interview. It was a moment where faith and reason crossed paths, challenging the hearts of millions. In that silence, the stage was set for something extraordinary, a journey into hope, doubt, and the power of belief itself. What followed stunned the world. Elon Musk's son X didn't just speak, he prayed. A simple, heartfelt prayer that echoed through the quiet studio. No fancy words, no polished rhetoric, just a young man reaching out, asking for strength, guidance, and peace beyond understanding. Millions heard it live, some wiping tears, others silent, but all moved in a way that defies explanation. In that prayer, vulnerability met courage, a young soul unafraid to show the world his faith in a higher power. Ben Shapiro's usual quick wit softened, his expression shifting from skepticism to awe, caught off guard by such raw sincerity. This moment wasn't about winning arguments. It was about touching hearts, reminding us all of something deeper than the surface. A prayer so simple, yet so powerful, it pierced through cynicism and reached into the soul of every viewer. The air hung heavy with emotion as the studio held its breath, witnessing a rare moment of pure grace on live television. Elon Musk's son X, in that humble prayer, showed millions the quiet strength of faith that can change lives forever. And from that moment, the world would never look at him the same way again, no longer just a name, but a voice of hope. The world watched in awe as the prayer ended. But the real story? The reaction it sparked across the globe, reaching hearts far beyond that room. Oprah Winfrey, known for her strength and empathy, was among the first to reveal tears streaming down her face live on air. She spoke of how rarely she's witnessed such raw honesty, such genuine faith, in a world starved for hope and meaning. Her reaction mirrored what millions felt inside, an unexpected wave of emotion that broke through cynicism and disbelief. News outlets scrambled to capture the moment, but no story could fully explain the depth of feeling stirred by those simple words. Social media exploded, with hashtags trending worldwide, millions sharing, debating, and reflecting on the powerful message from a young man no one expected. Elon Musk's son X became a beacon, a symbol of hope for a generation caught between technology and spirituality. His words challenged the narrative that faith is outdated or irrelevant. It was alive, vibrant, and reaching millions in real time. The moment became a viral movement, proving sometimes the quietest voices can shake the world the loudest. And through it all, the question remained: what had moved these millions so deeply, and why did it feel like the beginning of something greater? Elon Musk's son X was no longer just a name tethered to fame and fortune. His message echoed far beyond the bright lights of celebrity. It wasn't about the spotlight, the legacy of his family, or the weight of his surname. It was about something much more powerful. He spoke of hope, of faith, of a love that transcends circumstances, reminding the world that even in chaos, there is peace. Millions resonated with his vulnerability, an honest expression of the human spirit wrestling with doubt and clinging to belief. His words weren't polished speeches, but genuine reflections that pierced through layers of skepticism and touched the hearts of many. For some, it was a wake-up call. For others, a balm to their weary souls. For all, a reminder of something eternal. The story didn't end when the cameras stopped rolling. It was just beginning, as his message spread like wildfire across the globe. X's courage to speak openly about Jesus sparked conversations in homes, offices, and communities, challenging assumptions about faith and fame. This was a new chapter, not just for him, but for millions searching for meaning in a fragmented world. And it all started with a young man daring to share his heart, reminding us that sometimes the most powerful stories come from unexpected places. In a world where strength is measured by control, Elon Musk's son X showed us a new power: the courage to be vulnerable in front of millions. His confession was not weakness, but a quiet revolution, a reminder that admitting doubt can be the first step toward faith. Millions witnessed a young man dismantling walls built by fear, revealing a soul hungry for truth and connection. Ben Shapiro's usual sharp rebuttals gave way to silence. Vulnerability is a language even the hardest hearts recognize. This moment didn't just change a conversation. It challenged the world's idea of what strength really means. X's words echoed in living rooms and offices, inspiring those who thought their struggles were theirs alone. He became a mirror reflecting our collective battle, the fight between doubt and hope, cynicism and faith. The power of vulnerability is its ability to break isolation, reminding us we are never truly alone. And in that fragile openness, a new kind of strength emerged, one that would carry millions through their darkest nights. The world was watching, learning, and slowly realizing that true courage often begins with a trembling voice. After the prayer, silence fell like a thick fog, tense, expectant, impossible to ignore. That silence spoke louder than any argument, echoing with unspoken questions and deep, aching hope. Viewers everywhere felt the weight of that moment, an invisible thread connecting millions in shared awe and contemplation. Ben Shapiro, a man of logic and words, found himself caught in that pause, searching for meaning beyond rhetoric. Sometimes silence is not emptiness, but a sacred space where truth reveals itself without interruption. In that hush, the world felt the presence of something greater, something beyond what any words could contain. The silence challenged everyone to listen, not just with ears, but with their hearts. It was a reminder that sometimes the most profound answers come not from speaking, but from simply being still. And millions stayed with that silence, letting it wash over them like a wave of unseen grace. That moment, frozen in time, became a turning point, a quiet invitation into faith's mysterious embrace. Though young, X spoke with the wisdom of ages, echoing truths passed down through generations, now lighting up a new era. His words carried the weight of history and the freshness of a heart encountering faith for the first time. Millions heard, not just a celebrity's son, but a messenger breathing life into ancient promises. The timeless message of Jesus, hope, redemption, love, was reborn in a voice many least expected. This wasn't a lecture. It was a testimony, raw, authentic, and alive with passion. The power of his voice stirred something deep within listeners, calling them to remember forgotten truths. A young man bridging the gap between modern skepticism and eternal hope, challenging both worlds to listen. His conviction cut through the noise of doubt, reaching souls hungry for meaning and purpose. This was more than an interview. It was a revival sparked by a single, courageous voice, and it planted seeds of faith in hearts scattered across the world, waiting to grow. When Elon Musk's son spoke of Jesus, it moved Mel Gibson to tears, a raw, unguarded moment that spoke volumes. Gibson, known for his powerful storytelling, found himself overcome by a force beyond words, pure, heartfelt emotion. His tears were not shame, but revelation, a public display of how deeply faith can touch even the strongest among us. Millions, watching, saw a man stripped of pride, exposed to the transforming power of grace. In that moment, the world glimpsed the beauty of brokenness made whole through faith. Gibson's tears told a story of struggle, redemption, and the fragile human longing for connection with the divine. The raw emotion captured hearts worldwide, reminding us all that faith moves beyond doctrine into the realm of the heart. It was a powerful testament to how one voice, one story, can unlock healing in others. The tears symbolized hope, hope that no matter our past, grace is available to all who seek it. And through those tears, a silent prayer rose, uniting millions. In shared awe of faith's profound mystery, Elon Musk's son's story didn't end in that studio. It rippled outward, touching lives across continents and cultures. From quiet bedrooms to bustling cities, people shared, discussed, and reflected on the unexpected message of hope and faith. The story became a beacon in a world too often clouded by cynicism and despair. Countless individuals found courage to confront their own doubts, inspired by a young man's honest quest for truth. Communities began conversations that transcended politics and divisions, united by a shared hunger for meaning. Social media amplified the story, but its power came from its authenticity, real words from a real heart. This ripple of faith started small but grew into a tidal wave, changing how millions see the world and themselves. It reminded us that sometimes one voice is all it takes to spark a revolution of hope. In the noise of our times, this story became a clarion call to listen, believe, and act with love. And as the ripple continues, it carries with it the promise that faith can still move mountains. Doubt crept into the conversation like a shadow, but Elon Musk's son X met it not with anger, but with unshakable faith that defied reason. He didn't run from questions. He welcomed them, showing that faith is strongest when tested by doubt. Millions witnessed a young man grappling with uncertainty, yet anchored by a hope that wouldn't quit. His courage to face skepticism head-on was a balm to those wrestling with their own crises of belief. This wasn't blind faith. It was faith forged in fire, a light burning through the darkest doubts. The strength in vulnerability gave others permission to explore their questions without fear or shame. X's voice was a lighthouse in the fog, guiding lost souls toward a shore of peace. In embracing doubt, he revealed faith's true power, not to erase questions, but to walk with them. His example shattered the myth that faith requires certainty, offering instead a path of honest searching. And in that search, millions found hope, a hope that can coexist with every unanswered question. In '01 expected a teenage son of a tech titan to become a profound teacher of faith and hope. His words were simple but piercing, cutting through layers of skepticism like a scalpel through doubt. He reminded millions that wisdom often comes wrapped in unexpected voices and humble hearts. The tech world was stunned, but more importantly, countless young people found in him a mirror for their struggles. He showed that greatness isn't about status, but about living truth courageously in the face of uncertainty. X's testimony became a beacon, proof that anyone, regardless of background, can lead others toward light. His voice, both gentle and firm, challenged listeners to rethink what it means to be wise and strong. In a culture hungry for meaning, he emerged as an unexpected guide, bridging worlds once thought separate. His story wasn't just personal, it was a call to action for everyone searching for their own truth. And with every word, he planted seeds of hope that would blossom far beyond the interview room. For a moment, the world stood still, breath held, hearts open, as Elon Musk's son spoke with undeniable clarity. It was more than an interview. It was a sacred pause where millions felt something stirred deep inside. Time seemed to slow, and the noise of everyday life faded into a backdrop for something eternal. In that stillness, listeners felt the presence of grace, subtle, yet overwhelming in its power. That pause broke down walls built by cynicism and hardened hearts, inviting vulnerability and belief. It was a collective breath held between doubt and hope, a fragile bridge between skepticism and faith. Millions sensed the weight of the moment, a holy stillness that promised transformation for those willing to listen. This was not just a story told, but an experience shared, a spiritual awakening captured live on air. And in that silence, 1,000 prayers rose, uniting strangers across the globe in a moment of grace. That day, faith didn't just speak. It was heard, felt, and remembered forever. The courage to believe again is often born in the quiet aftermath of shattered hopes and broken dreams. Elon Musk's son's story was a beacon to those who had lost their way, whispering, "It's okay to start over." He spoke not from a place of certainty, but from the bravery of a heart willing to try again. Millions who felt beaten down found in his words a reason to lift their heads and hope. Once more, faith, he showed, is not a destination but a journey, fraught with setbacks, but always moving forward. His testimony was a lifeline to the weary, proving that belief can be rekindled even in the darkest night. The courage to believe again doesn't erase the past, but transforms it into fuel for a new beginning. X's voice echoed across generations, reminding us that hope is a fire that never fully dies. His story gave permission to stumble, to question, and to rise again, stronger, wiser, more alive. And with that courage, millions took the first step toward a faith reborn in the face of doubt. From the ripples of one conversation emerged a movement, a new generation awakening to faith's transformative power. Elon Musk's son's testimony ignited a fire in young hearts longing for truth beyond empty promises. This awakening wasn't loud or flashy. It was a quiet revolution stirring beneath the surface of a skeptical world. Millions of young people, inspired by his vulnerability and honesty, began seeking answers with fresh eyes and open hearts. They challenged the status quo, refusing to settle for hollow answers, hungry for authentic connection with God. A wave of seekers rose, eager to walk a path marked by grace, hope, and relentless faith. This generation embraced doubt not as a barrier, but as an invitation to deeper discovery. Their awakening promised to reshape culture, faith, and the very way we understand God's work in the world. In a fractured age, they became beacons of hope, proof that faith is alive and thriving in new hands. And as this new generation stood up, they carried forward the story, bold, unashamed, and ready to transform the world. Vulnerability isn't weakness. It's the courageous act of laying down your armor and letting your true self be seen. Elon Musk's son showed millions that true strength is found in honest confession and open hearts. His willingness to share struggles made faith accessible, breaking through walls built by fear and pride. Millions resonated with his story because it mirrored their own hidden pain and silent battles. That moment of openness became a turning point, inviting others to join him in authentic vulnerability. Through tears and trembling voice, he revealed that faith grows not despite our struggles, but through them. His courage sparked a wave of honesty, challenging others to embrace their imperfections without shame. The power of vulnerability showed that grace is not earned by perfection, but given through brokenness. Millions found hope in knowing they don't have to be flawless to be loved and accepted. And in that revelation, faith became a refuge, a place where broken hearts are healed and made whole. Some words carry a power that transcends time, echoing through generations with life-changing resonance. Elon Musk's son's message crossed cultural and generational divides, touching hearts both young and old alike. Grandparents, parents, and children alike found themselves united in a shared moment of spiritual awakening. His words became a bridge between ages, reminding everyone that faith is timeless and universal. In homes across the world, conversations sparked that had long been silenced by doubt and fear. This young voice invited families to rediscover hope and healing, breaking cycles of brokenness. The message's power lay in its simplicity, truth spoken with humility and heartfelt conviction. Millions embraced the call to reconnect, to listen, and to believe again, together as one. Faith's legacy found new roots as families passed down this story, a beacon of grace and redemption. And with each retelling, the message grew stronger, binding generations in a shared journey toward hope. In a world spinning out of control, faith becomes the anchor that steadies trembling hands and restless hearts. Elon Musk's son reminded millions that even when life feels chaotic, there is a peace that surpasses understanding. His testimony was a balm for those living through storms, financial crises, broken relationships, personal battles. He showed that faith isn't about escaping hardship, but walking through it with courage and hope. Millions found solace knowing they aren't alone in their struggles, and grace meets us in chaos. His words became a refuge, a reminder that calm isn't absence of trouble, but presence of God. Through every trial, faith offers a steady hand to hold, even when the future feels uncertain. X's story inspired listeners to face life's storms, not with fear, but with resilient hope. Faith became the light that shone brightest in darkest moments, guiding lost souls home. And in that light, chaos lost its power, replaced by a peace that only grace can bring. One story can change countless lives. Like a pebble tossed into still water, ripples spread far and wide. Elon Musk's son's words were that pebble, setting off a movement that touched millions across the globe. From small towns to bustling cities, his testimony ignited conversations about faith, hope, and redemption. His story showed that no voice is too small to make a monumental impact. Millions were reminded that sharing our truth can inspire others to embrace their own journey. The ripple effect created connections, weaving a tapestry of faith that spanned continents and cultures. Every listener became a carrier of hope, spreading light in their own corners of the world. X's story proved that transformation begins when we dare to be vulnerable and speak boldly. The movement grew, fueled by ordinary people empowered by an extraordinary story of grace. And in those ripples, faith multiplied, an unstoppable wave of hope changing the world one heart at a time. Grace leaves a legacy that outlasts time, a gift passed down through stories, lives changed forever. Elon Musk's son's testimony became part of that legacy, inspiring millions to choose hope over despair. His story reminds us that grace isn't earned, but freely given, transforming hearts and changing destinies. The legacy of grace lives on in every life touched by truth, courage, and forgiveness. It's a legacy that calls us to live boldly, love deeply, and forgive freely. Millions now carry that torch, shining light into dark places with unwavering faith. The story that began with one voice has become a chorus, singing of redemption and hope. Through every generation, grace will continue to inspire, heal, and unite. And as long as hearts are open, the legacy of that conversation, that faith, will never fade. Because grace is eternal, an endless story that begins anew in every soul brave enough to believe. What did this story stir in you? How did Elon Musk's son X's words about faith and vulnerability resonate with your own journey? And where are you watching this from? Drop your location in the comments below. If this story touched your heart, please like, share, and subscribe to our channel for more inspiring stories that uplift and unite us all. Your support helps us keep sharing these powerful moments of hope and grace.